Vandal more worthy of academy, the Hall of Academicians, Vandal City. Hello everybody, you are welcome to the launch of the Vandal City News website and Echo newsletter. Today is going to be a very amazing launch. The event is going to be very brief but really interesting and packed because we are having some very interesting speakers, and as well we'll be showing you exactly what you should expect when you find yourself on the website at the same time. But before we zoom right into the event, we'll going to take a quick break and then we'll be back very soon.
I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts, Spider-Man's control, and Batman with his fist. And really I don't see myself and ponder with what she said, where she wanna go, how much she wanna risk. I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts. Heroes of fairy tale bliss, just in body, I want something just like this. I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, the testaments it told, the moon its eclipse, and Superman arose, and stood before he lives. But I'm not the kind of person that asks what she said, where she wanna go, how much you wanna risk. I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss, just something I can turn to, somebody I can miss. I want something just like this.
Welcome back. Now, the history behind this news site was just a thought idea that popped up when we had a meeting with the JCR, and that is to say that at that same time, the meeting tended to border around how best to brand the JCR such that people outside would understand what we do, but secondly, would have some positive things to say about the hall outside the kind of things that we've been hearing. But number three is what we can do to leave a long-lasting legacy for the JCR. That is what birthed this news website, because we believe that generation to generation it will still stay for each and every Vandal that comes after this administration to be proud that at the end of the day they have something that belongs to them. And so it is very important that as you who is watching, you give this your utmost reverence and support such that it becomes a successful entity that would stay from administration to administration or from generation to generation. Before we begin with the series of addresses we'll be having today, I want to admonish you to please go on our social media pages. On Facebook, it's Vandals UG. On Twitter, it is Vandals UG. On Instagram, it's still Vandals UG. And do well to follow us, and let's get interactive of the Commonwealth Hall. And he also is a senior lecturer at the chemistry department. So, without much ado, Dr. Fukutreme.
Hello everyone, especially hello Vandals, V-mates. I'm very happy to be here this afternoon to give you a simple message in this period where we try to launch our JCR website. I must say that the theme for this launch is a very powerful one. Students in media and journalism, the next step of organizational accountability in tertiary institutions and beyond. Over the years, Commonwealth Hall has provided an excellent platform for the development of a lot of media specialists and journalists. We have countless examples of students who have come in here into the hall knowing very little, but over the years have, through the social interactions that we have in the hall, developed themselves into very excellent careers in journalism for our country and beyond. We can give examples of Alhaji El Alawa, who, rest in peace wherever he is now. Anas Arabia Anas was here. Kafuide was here. Akoto of City TV was here. Senanya Draw GH Campus TV was here. Kukua Sante of Joy FM was here. Christian Yalo also of Joy FM was here. There are many examples that we could actually give. So I believe that this period where we launch this website is a great period where we provide the opportunity, or should I say we provide the platform to develop more students who, or should I say to develop more professionals who will go on to have excellent careers in media and journalism. And most importantly, people who will document fully not only the activities, or should I say the history of the nation, but also the history of the whole. I believe that as Vandals, there are a lot of things that we are not documenting properly. Okay, so it is about time that we really document our history. We put things into writing. Remember, if you don't write your own history, nobody will write it for you. So I believe that during this time, and the platform that we are seeking to establish, we should be able to use this as the starting point to document.
Next, we caught up with Dr. Frank Nyame in his office at the Earth Science Department, and we asked him questions pertaining to what he believes is best for the university, and not just that, but how this innovative idea of having a website and reviving the Vandal Echo newsletter could become a very defining tool in ensuring that we hold university authorities accountable, and again ensure that the JCR is also on its toes working. He had some very interesting things to say. Let's go and listen to Dr. Frank Nyame. How do you think this would help the university community in terms of students as a stakeholder holding the university administration accountable for the policies that they introduce for we students? How do you think this is relevant, a relevant media to use to that effect?
Well, it is very relevant, but accountability is a two-way street, right? So much as students may be thinking of using it as a means to hold the university, authorities accountable, you should also think about the responsibility that you also have. Is that okay? To perform. You understand? Students also up to the task of managing first even the whole affairs, right? So first, accountability should start. They say charity begins at home, is it not? So it is good to have that as an aim or an objective. But equally, I think this will also enable your fellow students to also more or less understand how the JCR system will work and will prepare you for life outside the university. So it shouldn't just be for accountability in terms of the university's perspective, is that okay, management's sake, but accountability right from the whole level, right? The JCRs, what you are doing, how much you are collecting, transparency, are you involving people in decision making, etc., etc. Is that okay? So once you are able to do that, then you can also more or less proceed with what may be happening in the university. Is that okay? Disseminating, but always try to cross-check your sources or your source or sources before you publish. Because these days, if you are not careful, you pick something right now and then other news outlets will pick. If you only engage in sensationalism, you may end up, is that okay, being sued, sometimes even in court. Is You understand? Which may have very serious implications, and the sort of ideas or ideals or whatever you wanted, is that okay? The basis for having this thing will be negated. You understand? So yes, it's very good in terms of accountability. Is that okay? On the university management front or say, but you must also think of it accountability at the hall level, at the student level. Is that okay? Whatever we do, whatever activities, whether in the hall or outside the hall, you understand? So that people, by this, people will also be reading, people will get to know what is happening there. Are we going to send negative, news items? Is that okay? Or are we going to only dwell on the positives and shelve the negatives? You understand? So we should have a balanced approach, in my view, to the news that we report. You understand? Always mindful of the fact that we should be cross-checking, is that okay, our sources, our facts, before we even attempt to put these things out there for people to read.
So, okay. Two more questions, then we are done. The next one is, we want you to give motivation to people who would want to patronize this as writers and as people who will be reading from the news site. How would you motivate them, or give us a reason to push them, to motivate them to visit these sites to read and also to aspire to write for the site?
For me, motivation has to do with what you put in there, the content. Okay? Now, when when Amazing started started it in a very small place in the US, but with time, Amazing has become a global brand. So you can start small. Is that okay? But look at the content very well. The content itself will sell itself. You understand? So once people begin to see that, you are putting in the content that they like, you understand? They will go on. We're students here. Sometimes we took vehicles all the way to this thing that has come over here, the bookshop, Kingdom. Is that okay? To go and buy a few things. Sometimes the difference in terms of price will just be something small, but why were we going up there? So probably the content. I wouldn't want to talk about motivation in terms of giving people incentives or whatever. The incentive will be what you put out there. Once what you put out there will be very good, and be mindful. Don't only think about the university community. What is happening in the villages? Is that okay? What is happening with the unfortunate people who are not able to, a lot of people qualify for the university, they are not able to come. Is that okay? Not sensational, but at least factual things that will be relevant for people to consume. Once you hinge on those things, I think it will sell itself. Is that okay? And probably once you have news that people want to consume, they may go there, and then even adverts and other things will keep, is that okay, streaming in, and you can make, And one thing that I also talk about in terms of sustainability is you have to make sure that, is that okay, you train others. Because here is just a transient kind of thing. 4 years you are students, you will leave. So how do you sustain it? Okay? So you should set up a program where you train people. Is that okay? So that as others leave, they also come in, and then they fill the gap. But I want to just say that as Vandals, we always have to fight a good fight. Is that okay? Fight a good fight, finish the race, keep the faith. These are the three things that I would. Is that okay? If it's a song, we can do that. Fight a good fight. You just don't get into any fight. Is that okay? The fight has to be good. So this one could be a fight in itself, with a good cause, good intentions, good objectives. Finish the race. You just don't go in and then tomorrow, the next day, you just left somewhere. Every race has rules, is it not? So there are rules of media reportage. So keep, is that okay? The rules. Be mindful of the rules all the time. And then at the end of it, or say keep the faith of vandalism. Is that okay? Let us strive to keep that faith.
And as always, as young Vandals, to our Old Vandals Association for inspiration and for support and just generally to give us a hope to do greater things just like they are doing. So we always have to find them in our midst anytime we're having something of this sort. And so to all old Vandals out there, V-mates, yes, it's a thing of pride to know that we have a strong alumni association that is always supportive. We caught up with Vandal Okocha, who, of course, everybody knows him to be Vandal Okocha, but his government name is Mr. Emmanuel Hansen. And we caught up with him, tended to ask him questions, and more so gathered his thoughts on what he thinks is best for the university and what the Old Vandals Association have as an aspiration to ensuring that they project a positive character or positive picture of the hall, and how this project of having a website and reviving the Vandal Echo newsletter could fit into that agenda or idea. And so Vandal Okocha had these very interesting things to say. Vandal Okocha.
So Commonwealth Hall has gotten a new website which features several aspects of it, being entertainment, academics, several aspects of it. Now the overarching initiative I find very exciting for students to take that initiative to the next level is the fact that in Commonwealth Hall, not only do we learn and associate ourselves and build our brand, but there are other aspects within the hall beside, sports and all of that. There are other areas as entertainment, there are other areas as, we have best debaters and all of that. But how do we tell our story to the rest of the world? Now you find very negative stories being, portrayed out there by bloggers and all of that anytime they hear about Vandals. And I must be quick to say that when we say Vandals, it is an acronym, and it stands for vivacious, affable, neighborly, dedicated, altruistic, and loyal. That is Vandal. It's an acronym. So if you are a Vandal and you search that particular lexical meaning, you may find several negative meanings assigned to it. And over the years, there has been so many misconceptions about who Vandals are and what they actually do. But surprisingly, you find several of us, or several of the old Vandals and nations, at very high positions. When you get to the media, you find Vandals there. You find old Vandals at the police service. You find old Vandals at several places. Even the current chair, the current Chief Justice is an old Vandal. We've produced presidents before. We have several MPs who are Vandals. So besides just the lexical meaning and what we actually stand for, we are producing, very great men for the future. The other thing is, we have this young crop of Vandals with so many talents. Some of them are organizing conferences on entrepreneurs and all of that. The question is, how do we package them all into a particular content that people can actually view with a thumb, with a mobile phone? Now everything is digital. Now you have this genius team of communication team under the current leadership of the GCR, having designed a very beautiful website, and I think they are going to take it further to an app and all of that, which I believe that is in the pipeline. But you have this content being organized well for people to know that besides just googling about Vandals and what they do and charging, you can also have other aspects of what we do and all of that. I believe that this is a very brilliant idea. I endorse strictly the website. This fellow Vandals all over the world watching now, I think that you need to visit the website. Not only to visit, just subscribe it, visit all the social media platforms of Vandals and like it and follow. Now you also have about, I'm being informed that about 60 or so people have subscribed to be writers. Now this is a very interesting thing that I think the media out there would be very interested in. You are grooming a particular group of students to be very proactive, to learn whilst in school, to learn the journalistic aspect of it. I mean, they are interviewing. These are creative people. Now you are putting them together. They are going to brainstorm. They are going to come up with articles. They are going to write. They are going to interview. The entertainment aspect of it. They are going to bring out the best. I mean, this is a website that you find every content about us. Now, besides that, they have this beautiful thing. I think it's very creative to be the thought leadership within the university space. So you have the university at large, issues that are happening, which are very important. I mean, which students can consume. And I think that this is a brand portray because everybody at a very second, I think I was at a Twitter masterclass a couple of years ago, which was organized as part of the social media week all over the world. And this is what we learned. At every 5 seconds, an average of less than, I think, 100 people view their mobile phones. Seconds, view their mobile phones. So you have content, people consuming content all throughout. So if I want to know about what Vandals are, I just go to their website and see what they are. So I don't dwell on the negatives alone. I can find talents there. Recently, I learned a group of students are segregating waste, and it was an initiative which came from Commonwealth, and you have Commonwealth students or past students, or some of them are current students championing this recycling thing, which is a big thing out there. I mean, sustainable development goals and all of that. These are young people putting up these creative things. They are not waiting for the government to establish things for them. They are taking initiative. And I find the website very good because they are putting the content of what they can develop here out there. They are developing content. And I mean, now it is very obvious. Social media is creating several opportunities for a lot of people. Now, some of them are bloggers, some of them are YouTubers or vlogs, and they are earning so much. Let's put the money aspect, aside. The content creating or the creation of the content, that I find very, very innovative. And I think that as a Vandal watching me all over the world, this is a perfect platform for you. Just take your mobile phone, visit the Commonwealth or official website. Now, if you hear any misconception out there, quickly go to your mobile phone, search Commonwealth, or just go there first. Don't just listen to any other media. Just go there first. Anything about Commonwealth, or just go there first and check for yourself. If it's not there, it's not credible news. I'm telling you. If it is there, it is official. It is. It is a very good as it comes. You find very good talents coming out here, and they are Vandals. You can also get those information there. And for us old Vandals, I think this has come as a very good opportunity time to also connect with the current Vandals, and even it makes it even more paramount as there is COVID-19. I can see this vision that these students have of connecting with the old Vandals through this platform or this means. You can connect through there. You can send your information. If there are available opportunities like let's say internship or national service and all of that, we can share ideas on this platform. And I see this moving to a very big level where we can get journalists, prominent journalists out of this. We can get also our talents also out there. We can get several of them developing skills in here without being frightened about camera or anything. They can speak their mind on topical issues, and Vandals has always over the years, because without learning here, when you get the big platform, how do you excel? And I think that this website and this media team and the communication committee within the whole are doing a very fantastic job. Kudos to the JCR outgoing president Lyrics, and also the chairperson of the communication committee. They've done a very brilliant job, and I think just go Google now, Vandal City News, on all your browsers. Just search, subscribe, follow our social media pages, and let's get connected. I know that Vandals, as always, we set the pace and we lead. So this platform is going to lead, and I heavily endorse it.
Osewo ye Vandal, Osewo ye Vandal, Vandals na abia. Oh say oh yeah Vandal, Vandal. Oh Vandal say super power. Oh Vandal say super power. Ubika say oh yeah Vandal no strove it. Oh your truthful. Ubika say oh yeah Vandal no strove it. Oh your power belongs to Vandals forever, forever, whenever, forever. Our power belongs to Vandals forever. What do you say, V-mates? Sharp.
Still Old Association, we caught up with Dr. Ramos Asafo Ejay, who is the Dean for the Center of Languages and Legal Studies at the Takrady Technical University. He had some very interesting things to say, and I wouldn't want to be a spoiler for what to hear from him. And so next is Dr. Ramos Asafo Ejay, who is in the Takrady Technical University and is also at the Center for Languages and Legal Studies as Dean. Dr. Ramos.
Fellow Vandals, I greet you all. I believe it's a very special occasion, considering the fact that we have two very important things happening simultaneously and have to be launched on the same day. It's wonderful. I am Dr. Ramos Asafo Ejay, and I believe I was in the hall from 2002 to 2006, and it's very positive. I believe that that your leadership, your executive, have found it expedient and very necessary to put together this particular innovation. That is the launch of the site, and then its allied, that is ECHO. In fact, during our time, I never heard of the ECHO as a newsletter. I never heard anything about it. The practice then was that there was a notice board at the JCR, that is the Potter's Lodge, where individuals would write articles, post there. Then the duty, I read English, the duty of some of us, most of the guys would be to go there and edit the language. And obviously the insults follow. After each editorial work is done, the insults follow. And that was the practice then. So hearing of the ECHO in itself is a wonderful feat, because it sort of regularize what students think and what is happening on campus, special in relation to, that is the Commonwealth Hall of Vandals in particular. So that is very, very good. But then taking it to the next level is fantastic. In fact, I've been an adjunct lecturer on the distance program organized by our university. I've been at the Takrady Center handling that